everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sam, otherwise known as Sneerks from TikTok. Today we are going to be doing a speed build of the cottage from Disney's Snow White. And if you didn't see my video from last week, I recreated the tower from Disney's Tangled. These videos aren't in any sort of chronological order or anything, but if you did like this one, just make sure you check out that one as well. Okay, let's jump into some fun facts here. Snow White premiered December 21st, 1937. And this was Disney's first full-length film and the first movie to ever come out with a music soundtrack along with the film. Now, this story is based on the German fairy tale from the Grimm's brothers, very similar to Rapunzel. Apparently, in the Grimm's brothers version of Snow White, it is much creepier, which is hard to believe because the movie of Snow White is terrifying. Now, this movie did take 3 years to make, and it had hundreds, if not thousands, of artists working on this film. So this was a pretty big production. Originally, it was funded at about $250,000, but at the end of it, it had exceeded over $1 million. Now, I did mention cartoonists and artists, which means that this movie is completely 100% hand-drawn, and they had millions of pages worth of art that they were considering, but obviously they weren't able to use every single drawing, and they had to kind of put them all together and pick out the ones that made the most sense for the story, and they came up with about 250,000 drawings. Now, speaking of animation, they had to use a lot of real-life references to be able to animate, because remember, this is way back in the 30s where they did not have CGI, they did not have anything, any instruments or tools to kind of help them with this sort of realism or realistic looking film. So for example, the prince was one of the hardest characters that they had for animation, and he only appears 2 minutes in the film because they had such a hard time being able to animate him appropriately. They had some pretty unique and interesting techniques on how they wanted to shape their audio. For example, Lucille Laverne, who played the queen slash the old woman, in order to make that distinct difference between the characters, she removed her false teeth when she played the old woman to kind of give her a totally different sound. Snow White is supposed to be 14 in this movie, and there's a 17-year age gap between her and the prince, who is supposed to be 31 years old. Snow White was originally supposed to be a little bit more provocative looking, and because of her age and just everything that came with her being provocative, they decided to tone back on that since this was a kid's movie and created the look that she has now. Apparently, their goal was to make her look, quote, old enough to be able to marry. Do with that information what you will. Now, the woman that played Snow White, Adriana Castellotti, actually had a contract with them where she was not allowed to play any other role in other movies. Disney wanted her voice to be exclusive to Snow White. She was not credited for the role of Snow White, and she had 2 additional uncredited roles, one being in The Wizard of Oz, the other being in It's a Wonderful Life. Considering she was kind of bound to Disney after playing this role, she was paid a total of $970, which to be fair is equivalent to $18,000 today. But just imagine being paid under $20,000 and not being allowed to basically act ever again. Now, the actress didn't have a problem with this. In fact, she had her own home designed to look exactly like the Seven Dwarfs cottage, which is what we're building today. There was talk about there being a sequel to Snow White called Snow White Returns, but they very quickly decided against that. I mean, what else is Snow White gonna do? Her character wasn't very dimensional, I suppose. There was kind of just this one character, and we didn't know much about her. Obviously, we have the 7 dwarves as well in this movie. Doc, Sleepy, Bashful, Sneezy, Dopey, Happy? Did I just forget Happy? There were many names that were rejected. Some of the names that they ended up not choosing was Biggie Wiggy, Big O Ego, Deffy Dirt, Shifty, Nifty, Gloomy, Jaunty, Gabby, Gloomy, and there was definitely more, but I'm gonna stop there because they're ridiculous. And actually, the voice actor that played Bugs Bunny, Mel Blanc, was supposed to play Dopey. Instead, no one voiced that particular role. It was alleged that Adolf Hitler also was a huge fan of Snow White. So if Snow White is one of your favorite movies, you share something in common with Adolf Hitler. And so now we have the completed Snow White's cottage. This one was a lot easier to make than the Tangled one. The features from Sims 4 are a bit limiting when it comes to certain textures or designs or colors and things like that. So I got as close as I could to what I think looks like the cottage. So if you have any fun facts about Snow White, or if you know anything interesting about the movie or the books or anything like that, feel free to leave some information below. Next time, I'm thinking I'm going to be doing Lilo's house from Lilo and Stitch. Keep an eye out for that as well. Hope you guys have a magical rest of your day. I appreciate you for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye!